All right, so the car market just went from bad to worse. My wife just she's here. She had to blow her nose.
Sorry, guys.
All right, very sorry about that. If anyone heard the disgusting thing that just happened
not.
behind the mic. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about the car market today and a couple things that are going on right now on the new car side and the used car side, and how we know that things are not good. They're worse for car dealers right now. On the used car side, I can speak to it quite a bit because I'm a used car dealer. I'm seeing these things happen in real time at these car dealer auctions. And typically what we're going through right now is called spring selling season, tax time. I've talked about that a lot, but what typically happens is car dealers, used car dealers, especially in my range, they'll sell everything. They'll sell out. We had a really good tax season, but what I'm seeing at these auctions is that it can't be that a lot of these other dealers are having as good of a time as we are. And the reason being is because we're able to go in and buy some cars. And I've talked a little bit last week saying that, okay, this week I'm expecting us not to be able to buy a single thing at auction. And I was wrong. We actually went in and we bought six cars Tuesday. We bought another 2 or 3 Wednesday. And then yesterday we bought another 5.
It's a total of 12. So your numbers are wrong, but total of 12.
12 this week. And we were expecting 0. We were expecting 0 cars this week. And we were able to go in and buy. And from what I can see of the cars that we bought, Alex, my mechanic, goes in and buys a lot of cars. We got some good deals. And I saw a lot of the cars that came in from Tuesday, and they're good cars. It's not like they're just a bunch of dogs that we bought and we're able to scrape them together cheaply because they were not good cars. They're decent cars and they had good mileage, better mileage than what we typically buy, honestly. And the worry that comes up because we're able to go through and we're able to buy a lot of these cars is that these car dealers that were anticipating this big run, this big spring selling season, is not springing for them. So when that happens, that means that they've already exposed themselves. They've already leveraged themselves up. They use floor plans. They use credit to actually buy a lot of these vehicles. And if they're not able to sell them through this time period when they're supposed to be able to sell them, then that's bad news. And I really think that tax season's pretty much already done for the used car dealers. And the reason why I feel like I can say that and kind of put some confidence behind it is that yesterday was bright and sunny day here, no weather concerns, anything like that. Weather does pull back car sales. If it's nasty like today, then we'll be slower. But yesterday, bright and sunny day, I think we only sold 1 car yesterday, and we have some cars out there that are $3,500. And that should not happen where we only have a 1 car day if money is still in the system from people getting tax refunds. And what I've seen a lot in my comments, is that there's a lot of people that instead of getting tax refunds this past year, they've had to actually pay on their taxes. So that's going to take a lot of money out of the system that was supposed to be there for a lot of these car dealers. Now I want to shift a little bit to the new car side because I have spoken to a GM of a Nissan dealership, and we've actually got that interview coming out later today on our main channel. But it was very interesting hearing him talk about the dynamics that are happening at his new car store right now. He's a Nissan dealer, so take that with whatever grain of salt you want to. It's going to be brand specific, and a lot of these, obviously, Nissan's going to be much different than Toyota. Toyota's going to be much different than Ford right now. But what he was saying is that, okay, 2 months ago, they had like 40, 50 new cars on their lot. And now they are getting a shipment in pretty soon of 70 new cars coming in, and he's going to have like something like 200, 250 new cars. So to go from a 2 to 2.5 month span where he's got 50, 60 cars, then all the way up to over 200 in just 2 months, he said that's not good for him, and they are going to have to figure out how to actually sell these cars. Now, on the Nissan side, what we've recently seen is that they're starting to add incentives to these dealers to be able to start trying to move a lot of these vehicles. And we're going to see more of that coming out. We're already seeing the incentive spend going up. And if the market is good, if it's healthy, if people are buying cars like they were 6, 8, 12 months ago, you're not going to see these manufacturers spending any money to try to incentivize buyers to get into these new vehicles. And that's what we're seeing right now. What Nissan is doing on their Muranos, they're giving the dealers $1,000 for every Murano they sell. So if you go into a Nissan dealership and you want a car, it doesn't matter what car you want. They're going to try to get you into that Murano. That Murano is going to be the best thing on their lot. It's going to make toast for you. It's going to make your breakfast. It's going to pump its own gas. They're going to sell you this Murano because that's what they want to sell. They're going to get an extra pump, an extra little commission every time they sell one of these. Now, a lot of times these incentives for these dealers, when they come from the factory, they're going to help them be able to move on these cars. So $1,000 is probably not going to move the metal. And what this GM of this Nissan dealership told me is that they need more help from Nissan. He flat out said it. I'm excited for that interview to come out because he was very honest with all of his answers. And I didn't throw him a bunch of snowballs. I asked, okay, you got all this inventory coming in. What are you going to do about it? So it's very interesting to hear what the GM's thought process is in this market. And he was point blank. It's like, look, dealerships have too much inventory right now, and we're not sure how we're going to sell it. And that's what a lot of GMs are facing right now. And what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to lower their prices. The problem that they are kind of handcuffed with from these manufacturers is they can only lower these vehicles so much to actually advertise their cars. So when there's going to be somebody in the comments say, okay, well, I'm not seeing prices come down yet. Well, a lot of times these manufacturers, these franchise dealers, when they post their cars out there, they're posting the MSRPs. They can only lower them to a certain amount. So if you're not going inside, if you're not poking on the sales manager, if you're not poking on the salesperson to get you a better deal, you're not going to see it. You can't just shop online and see prices come down. You have to actually go there. You have to actually go inside because one, a lot of these dealers are probably not going to show their hand as far as the weakness and be able to try to get money off or try to give you money off of this car just right in the beginning. But two, a lot of them, it's mandated by their manufacturer of how much they can actually advertise that they're coming off the price. So if you want a better deal on a new car, and if you're not seeing prices coming down, you're probably not trying hard enough. So stop being lazy. Go out, look, figure out something, whatever you're doing, you're not doing enough of it. But let's go back a little bit to the used car side. I want to tell you what I envision is going to happen from here going forward. And I believe that what's going to happen is I think tax time is pretty much done. And I think that a lot of these dealers, they're going to get pinched. They're going to figure out that they bought too many cars. And they paid too much for them, and they thought they were going to sell them, and they can't sell them. So after the 60, 90-day period, when their floor plans start coming due, they're going to have to start paying interest on these cars that are sitting. That's when you as a buyer are going to be able to go in there, poke on them, and get some better deals than now. But what I want you to do is even wait longer than that, because we want these dealers to get desperate before you actually see really, really good deals. And we're going to see it on the wholesale side first. So we'll see it through auction. I'm going to keep you going along with us and show you what's going on in the market as we're seeing it come to fruition. So we can go to the chat now and we'll see what kind of questions you guys have. So turn it over to my lovely, lovely wife.
Oh, the white car you were talking about you were taking back to the auction. Have you thought about sending it to Copart to maybe get a higher selling price?
So that car is still sitting on our lot. So when we buy cars from the auction, we don't get a title with those cars immediately. Even though I'm paying cash for my cars, a lot of the dealers that are bringing cars into the auction to sell, they don't have the title yet. They take these cars in on trade, and they have to finish up paperwork. They have to finish up a lien. They've got to figure out how to finalize this paperwork after they get the deal done. And I've talked about this a little bit, where these dealers are so gung-ho on getting that front-end deal done that they'll say, okay, yeah, you got a trade-in? You don't have the title here yet? No problem. We'll get you some numbers. We'll get this trade-in figured out. And then at that point, they'll have the car come in, and then the next day after that deal's done, they'll literally send the car basically to auction as quickly as possible. And so a lot of these times that we're buying the cars, the title is just not there. And so that's the same thing with that car that's sitting outside right now. We haven't received the title yet. So I don't want to do anything with that car. We're not sending it to auction yet. We're not working on it. We're not making a decision on it yet, because what we have is we have a time frame of about 30 days. And if the auction doesn't get us that title within 30 days, I can take that thing back to the auction. I can get my money back for it. So what we're hoping is that there's a problem with the paperwork, that the auction is not going to get that title in within 30 days. And then on day 31, we're going to be able to return it, get my money back. But if the title does come in, I have not considered taking it to a Copart. I've actually never been to a Copart auction. I know they sell a lot of salvage stuff, but what I've learned recently is they also do some fleet stuff. They also do some running things from dealers, and they also do some repossessions. And we recently got one of their I don't even know what you call it, their influencer program. There you go. Reached out to us, and we're now able to go there and film. So that's going to be a video we're going to do pretty soon, and I am going to show my first experience at Copart on camera. So we're very excited about that, and maybe I'll learn something as far as me being able to get more money out of a car if I take it to Copart versus us just sending it to the auction that we usually do. So we paid, I think. Well, I messed up. That's my car that I messed up on. I paid, I think, $2,400 for that car plus fees, whatever. Too much, way too much. And we're going to send it to auction, and it's probably only going to bring $600, $700, $800. So we're going to lose a lot of money on it. But I would be curious to see what something like that goes for at Copart, even if it's been sold by an independent dealer. So yeah, what's next? Oh, next.
Hey, I'm working on it. Okay, I got a couple things going on over here.
All right. Oh, this is good for TV.
We'll do a fun one. So sorry. I see you found a way to get rid of your Christmas tree. Talk about shrinkflation.
Yep. This is our economy right here. So I had a lot of people that were yelling at me about a Christmas tree, and then my wife, who hates Christmas, made us take it down. And I would still have it up. We actually still have our Christmas tree up at our house right now. So this is in memory of my hopes and dreams right here. This little thing. So we're gonna leave that up here.
We're taking their Christmas tree down at home.
Nope. Next question.
Yep, it's time. It's almost Easter. Okay. What's your opinion about buying cars at a police auction?
I've actually had a buddy that used to do really good going to, I think they're called municipal auctions. What's that word?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, so he always had success going there. So he would buy a lot of the city-owned vehicles. They would have the Impalas that used to be police cars, a lot of Ford Explorers, and then they would have they would have a bunch of Ford Rangers and Silverado like work trucks that the city would use. And he would love buying that stuff. He could get it a little bit cheaper than what we could typically buy at a regular auction. And those vehicles were maintained. The problem is there was they would only run like once every 6 months around here. So I would never make it out. And but no, I've never bought that kind of stuff. Now we've had some city vehicles run through some of our regular auctions that we've been able to buy, and we've bought some Impalas. I like buying Impalas for our price range. If we can get them like 150 to 200,000 miles, so like a 2006-ish, around that body style, we do really, really well with those. We're able to sell them if we can buy them for like $1,500, $2,500. We can always sell them for $3,000, $3,500. So yeah, I don't mind buying those at all. All right, what's next?
This is a tough one because the weird buying sales prices at auctions right now. But so do you expect the used cars to go down even more? Best time to buy, and any advice when it comes to purchasing a used car? Should I finance a used car?
No, don't finance a used car. Always pay cash. Buy what you can afford. There's going to be situations where obviously you can't save up enough money to be able to buy a car, but you still got to get to work. I understand that, but if you can help it, I would rather you not finance a depreciating asset. No, we call it an asset, a liability. I don't want you to finance a car. So what I would say to you is right now you don't want to be a buyer. And the question was, do I expect used car prices to go down even more? Yeah. Like right now is the peak of what we're going to see of used car prices all year round is what I expect. So as we go throughout the course of this year, what I expect to happen is that we get back down to this downtrend. You can pull up a Cox Automotive wholesale values or wholesale price index of used cars, and you can see that that prices on the used car level have already peaked, and we have this clear downtrend line. And I believe that line is going to continue throughout the course of the year. So this year, the best time for you to be able to buy a used car, in my opinion, is going to be December. So that's what that's what I'm going to plant my flag on, and that's what I think is going to happen. And if you are getting up, can I have the mouse?
Yes, I
Yep.
have to run up to the front for a minute.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, can you throw me a question up? All right, D-Rod says, how do you transport the purchased auction vehicles to your car lot? So what we do is we actually contract out. Okay, there's two different scenarios. So we have two auctions that are very close to us that we're able to just go and pick up the cars, and we typically will run 3 auctions a week. That's what we will usually do. So 2 of them are very close to us. One is like a mile away. So we can obviously go pick up those cars. We'll just drive them back. Another one is about about 20 minutes away. No problem. We can go drive those cars, get them here. No issue at all. And then the third auction that we go to on a regular basis is the one that you see regularly on our channel that we're showing, and it's about an hour away. I mean, 50 minutes to an hour, somewhere around there. And for that one, we actually contract out a transporter, and he's got a 2-car trailer. He's got a 3-car trailer. So if we buy 5 or 6 cars, we'll just give him the keys. He's also the auctioneer at that auction. So it's very easy for us right after we're done buying the cars. What Alex will do, he's usually the buyer at that auction, is he'll try to bunch the cars together in the auction lot as closely as possible, and then grab all the keys and then just hand them to our transporter. And I think we pay like $55 a car to get them transported back to our shop, but he'll do it over the next week or so, just whenever he's got time. We're not ever really in a huge rush to get cars. We never like to wait longer than a week to be able to get started working on cars. I don't like to have the car sit, because bad things happen when cars sit and don't run for a while. And especially with the older cars that we buy, converters become an issue when you have gas just sitting in these things for a very long time. So we try to get them moving as quickly as possible, but we're not in too much of a time crunch. What we'll do is we have a couple other auctions too that are farther away. And we have one that we'll sometimes go. It's about an hour. And then we have another one that's about an hour, 30 minutes away. Now it gets way more expensive when we go to those auctions and get them transported. But it's way easier for us to deal with that. Now, what I used to do when I was very, very cheap and we're doing basically everything ourselves, and we had a much smaller team, is that I would have, I think at the time I had like a 4Runner, and we had a little tow dolly. So I would almost always just buy like front wheel drive small cars from those auctions that were a long way away. And we would end up taking one whole day, and there would be 2 or 3 of us. We'd be able to drive 2 cars, and I would pull one. And that was a nightmare. I hated doing that.
Yeah, I did too. I got to be one of the drivers after I got off of my real job.
Yep. Funny story.
So
my
funny.
wife blew up a car.
Did not.
No, it was my fault. So we had, it was a Wednesday night, and I had gone to the auction, and the auction started at like 5:30. So this is how much we were grinding at the time. I would go to the auction at 5:30, buy the cars. Well, the auction will take an hour, hour and a half, whatever. So it'd be done at 7 o'clock. And my wife, my poor wife, She worked
Oh.
at a bank at a call center. She did analytics for them long time ago, and she would get home. It'd be in Charlotte, and we did not live in Charlotte at the time. And she would drive about 45 minutes to come home after she got off work at 5. And then I would call her and be like, all right, baby, we got 6, 7 cars. So we're going to be driving all night tonight. And I would go home, pick her up, and we would be driving cars till some nights like what, 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
And there was one night we had a Jeep Liberty, and it was overheated on the way home, and I was still young and didn't know what I was doing, didn't know anything mechanically. It was like the first year buying and selling cars. And
I want to also quickly point out, I did raise the alarm and say, I don't think
no,
this
you were
is
right.
okay.
You were right. You were right. And the temperature gauge started going up, and she called me and said, baby, it's starting to overheat a little bit. What do you think we should do? I was like, oh, it's probably just a thermostat. It's stuck. Just keep going on. It'll be fine. Obviously it wasn't. It was a head gasket, and we blew between the two of us. I allowed her to blow that car up, and it sat at that corner gas station for that night until I sold it the next day to a mechanic. I think we probably paid $1,500, $2,000 for the Liberty, and I sold it to him like $500. I said, okay, you can have it for $500. Like, yeah, I'll take it, but you got to go get it. So it's at this gas station on the corner in this town that's a little ways away. So anyway, that's what we got to do. But car market getting worse. Got off topic. But thank you all for joining this live stream. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and please like this video and end stream.